Ahoy music lovers, vinyl enthusiasts, and everyone in between. I'm Isaac, this is The Blind Island, and today I'm coming at you with a video of vinyl spins, things that have been recently hitting my turntable, and recommendations for you. Good coffee. So, it's been a little while, thought that I'd come back with a nice easy video and just kind of show you some things that I've been listening to. I have spun dozens and dozens of records over the past week and lots of good stuff, but here are a couple of highlights from that reel and yeah, maybe some recommendations for you. Things that you've seen in the past videos, most likely, but another little thing that has been kind of hitting my fancy. So we'll go with what's on the turntable right now. And this is easily one of the best finds of this year, and that is Anorexia, the unexplained electronic musical impressions of the occult. And this is just some fantastic Moog music by Mort Garson. He was the mastermind behind the album Plantasia, and this album is just full of mood. If you're a big fan of the Halloween soundtracks by John Carpenter, this is going to be right up your alley. I think that's really experimental, lots of really great burbling, strange electronic sounds throughout, and very creepy. I enjoy this album a lot, and I'd highly recommend it for you. And next, this was one that I saw in the vinyl community when I first started making videos, and picked up a copy for myself. It's a really great album, and it's called Fear Itself. This is a self-titled debut, and for fans of really powerful female vocalists, think Janis Joplin, I would highly recommend this album. It's just really great psychedelic blues rock, and copies of this, it's on the rarer side. It's between $30 and $50. Released on the Paramount Dot Recordings label. This is a really great, powerful blues rock album, and one that I'd highly recommend for anyone who's really into that scene. So, really cool record. Another album that is getting harder and harder to find, and I'm super glad to have this one in the collection, is Violence with Monica Martin. Monica Martin is a vocalist who sang with a really nice psychedelic folk pop group, Fox, and this one is miles away from that. It's icy, cool synth pop, and really with R&B flavor. Monica Martin's voice on here is stunning. It's just absolutely arresting, and the arrangements that are around her vocals, even though she is the star, Violence arrangement around her is really stellar, top-notch. The production value on this is a really, really great. This came on a limited edition pink variant. I think that this album came out in, I want to say 2017. Yep, 2017. Nice pink variant here. And it has not been repressed as far as I know, but this is a really great record. And I highly recommend that you just go out and stream it. Check it out. Some really great tunes on here for your perusal. Next is just one of my favorite jazz albums of all time. It's climbing into my top 10 favorite jazz records. And I'm going to have to make another jazz video sometime, just going over my favorite jazz albums. I know that I came out with 20 great jazz records to get you started, but I'm going to have to go with my personal favorites because it's something that I'm really into, something that I continue to explore. And this is Focus by Stan Getz. This is pretty much arrangements and conducting done by Eddie Sauter. He has a string orchestra behind Stan Getz on this, and most people who love jazz, they hear strings, they shudder. They're just like, ugh, that is not a good mix. It's elevator music, it's muzak, but that is so far from the truth with this particular album. It is one of Stan Getz's many masterpieces, and I just love how he plays with the group. He hears them, and his improvisation with the arrangements is truly stunning, breathtaking. It's romantic and lush. It's featured also in one of my favorite movies, Buffalo 96, and I just love this record. It's super great. If you haven't listened to Stan Getz, or only have listened to him in the context of his Brazilian phase, Getz Gilberto, I would highly recommend you check this out. Very, very good. Next is one of my favorite albums from one of my top 3 artists of all time, and that is Tom Waits' Bone Machine. This was given to me by a friend for Christmas, and I freaking love this record. It's one of Tom Waits' best albums. Also, I'll be coming out with a video ranking Tom Waits' discography, and at least the albums that are in my collection. So be on the lookout for that, and it's coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Then, another one that I just recently listened to is Hawkwind, In Search of Space. If you're into space rock, Hawkwind is like the Cadillac of space rock. Just jammy, oozing with atmosphere, tons of different sounds and whistling, and just, it is really out there. So if you're into Hawkwind, or if you're into space rock, check out this record. I think that this is the beginning of Hawkwind's truly first classic period, and I thoroughly enjoy it. It's a wonderful gatefold, pulls out to a different die cut. It's a very difficult one to pull out, so I'm not going to do that. But I'd highly recommend that you pick up a first pressing of this. Really, really cool and interesting space rock here. Next is one of my favorite spring-summer albums, and that's Jonathan Richmond and the Modern Lovers 88. This is just really nice, easy breezy pop rock, and I love Jonathan Richmond's lyricism. It's always so heartwarming and leaves me just wistful for a different age, a more innocent time. And I've been going back to Jonathan Richmond's music a lot in the past year. It's a comfort during a very unknowable and trying times. So really, really cool record. Glad to have this one in the collection. Next is a little bit more art jazz, and this is Archie Shep, Things Have Got to Change. And this record would fit in very well with the times that we're in. And Archie Shep was very abrasive and intense character within the free jazz movement of the 60s and 70s. And I just find this record to be intensely emotional, energetic. If you haven't listened to this one before, I would recommend it in conjunction with his album Attica Blues. They're very, very similar type of records. So really cool album, one that I would highly recommend. And then we have Roy Ayers' Ubiquity, A Tear to a Smile. And this is just some really great funk jazz, and that kind of a little bit more on the poppy end. I really enjoy Roy Ayers' 70s material. Anything that he came out with during the period which he made the Coffee soundtrack really floats my boat. That kind of blaxploitation sound. I think that Roy Ayers sounds really, really great on this record. And if you're a fan of that kind of funk fusion, this will be right up your alley as well. And then finally, we have a 60s psychedelic album, Emerge by The Litter. And this is some really, really good psychedelic rock. I love their version of Little Red Book, and also their version of For What It's Worth is fantastic, but the true gem on this record is Future of the Past. Just a 12-minute odyssey of crunching guitars, swirling wah-wah pedals. Really, really great record. And this one is dropped dramatically in price, so you can pick it up for around $15 to $25. Highly recommended. So guys, that's what's been hitting my table. Just a little smattering. And also I will probably be kind of going at the same rate of making videos that I currently have been. Maybe once a week, maybe every other week. I just don't get the urge to do them as much as I used to. And, you know, I just like making them whenever I have the time. Thank you so much for your patience with it. And guys, I enjoy watching your videos. And as always, I hope that you have a great day on your own personal oasis. Cheers.